Hey, what's up, y'all? So right now what you're seeing me doing, I will be making this pillow. I bought that pillow from Joanne, and I have a little piece of extra fabric, so I will be cutting it away. And the roll, I have a tons of roll, is cotton twill. So what I'm going to be doing is, okay, so right now I'm just sizing up the pillow. I'm not using no rulers or anything. I'm just trying to get an estimate of how big the pillow's going to be, or small, how much fabric that I need. Okay, so right now what you see me doing, I am about to go wash it and to get rid of the stain. So I already washed the fabric. And I'm going to take the fabric, fold it in half, because I need two pieces that I'm going to use from that fabric. Okay, so once I fold it in half, I'm going to start cutting the fabric. And I realized after I cut the fabric that I made it a little bit too small. But I'm going to make it work, because right now I'm not using no measurements. I'm just eyeing it to make the pillow. Because I didn't take my time to measure it, or I just didn't measure it really, I'm a bit off on the pillow. So what I'm going to do to compensate for that, I'm going to get another fabric, make it slightly larger to make up for the fabric being a little smaller, because once I sew it, as you can look in the video, it's going to take up more fabric. You see, once I sew it, so I have to now get more fabric to be able to cover the pillow. Okay, so right now you see I already cut out the fabric. So I have a big pot of water on my stove, and the purpose of this is to dye the fabric. That's why I'm using white. So I want to be able to dye it whatever color I want. So right now I only have a little bit of damp mush in the bottle, and I'm gonna wait till it boils to pour it in. So I'm using all of it. So once I finish stirring it and everything, and then I'm gonna put the fabric inside. Wait till it gets piping hot, as you can see. Actually, the color that I use to dye is like blue, like a denim blue color. Okay, I'm just taking a little piece of wooden stick, stirring it around before I put the fabric in there, the fun part. So you can see, just looking at it a bit. And now I'm going to take my fabric and put it inside the pot. Make sure it goes all the way inside the water so it could dye properly, as you can see. Okay, so what you see right now, I left it for a day, and look how rich the color looks right now. Isn't it beautiful? So now I'm taking the fabric, I'm putting it in my sink, I'm just rinsing out the color. I'm using hot water to get as much of the color out from the fabric, because if you wash it, you don't want the color to leave, so I'm making sure as much as I can. So now that I washed it in hot water, then I dry it. This is how it looks dry right now. Though the colors doesn't look even, but that's because some of the fabric floated on top, so it didn't fully get to have like one solid color. So if I left it for like 5 or 10 minutes, maybe it would have had like a lighter blue with one solid color, but I had it in for a few days. Okay, before I start embroidering this, I just want you to know that I add some acrylic paint. It's a kind of glitter shimmering glitter paint, as you can see close by, just to make the fabric pop or look nicer. As you can see, I start embroidery the design of a cute little puppy. Okay, so this is the aftermath of the dog. I just finished embroidery, and I'm just showing you what it looks like, what I did on my embroidery machine. So next thing I'm going to do is show y'all how I sew or make the pillow. And just in case if you're curious, the software that I use to make this design is the PE Design Plus 2. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how I sew it. The first thing you want to do is serge the ends of the fabric, because with the first pillow I made, I wait to the end to serge it, and because of that, the fabric is made out of canvas and the other part of the fabric is made out of like soft velvet, so it was very bulky and thick, and when I used the serger machine to sew it, one of the needles broke. So it's better if you just serge it before you sew the fabric together. That way your needle is not going to break when you're serging it on the sewing machine. And it's just a lot easier. Yes, it's a little longer process, but it's better for the machine, and it's just a lot easier to sew. Okay, I'm doing the same thing with this fabric. I'm serging all over the fabric, just like I did with the first blue twill fabric. So right now I'm lining up the zipper before I sew the fabric together and complete it. The first thing you want to do is place the zipper on the fabric. So that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just getting a feel and idea how the zipper is going to look when I close it, and I'm just using the pins to hold the fabric together with the zipper, and then I'm going to hand sew it. The reason why I'm going to hand sew it because it's going to move. I have just a regular straight stitch sewing machine. I don't have a walker foot sewing machine. Maybe if I had a walker foot sewing machine, I probably wouldn't need to base the fabric to the zipper. But I have a regular industrial sewing machine, so I'm just gonna hand sew it, hand base it. That way, the zipper does not move. And so when I am finished basing the thread to the fabric to the zipper, then all I have to do is focus and sew the zipper to the fabric. I also forgot to mention that before I sewed the zipper to the fabric, I folded the fabric where the seam would be to stitch it, and I place it on the zipper. If you look at it closely, the fabric is already folded. I folded by ironing it. So before you do the zipper, make sure you fold the seam allowance and iron it so it could stay flat on the zipper. Okay, as you can see now, towards the end, I'm about to finish basting it. And when I base it, I just use one thread. I don't double thread it, and I don't knot it, because after I finish sewing, I take my seam ripper to rip out the thread, so it's a lot easier. So I just want y'all to know, towards the end of me basting, you're going to see how I finish it off. I don't use any knots. I didn't realize when I was filming that my head was blocking the way, but before you sew the zipper, make sure you double backstitch and stitch forward, and when you're done, you backstitch again. I sew the zipper in. I like to test it out first before I complete the zipper, so that's what I'm doing right now. Okay, so right now I'm taking the fabric and I'm folding it, and just like you see with the other fabric, I iron it before I fold it and placing it on the zipper, and I'm making sure I know how it looks. Right now the canvas is the blue denim looking color with the dark on it, and I want that picture to be the center focus because I didn't use no measurements. So I'm gonna make sure it's centered in the middle of the pillow, and that's what I'm doing. I'm eyeing it. I'm taking the fabric that I made a little larger to make up for it being slightly small, and I'm trying to get a feel on the eye there how I want that centerpiece is centered in the fabric. So that's what I'm doing right now, making sure that it looks okay before I sew the other piece to the zipper. Every part sewing the zipper in and stitching the zipper in is to actually see how it looks once it is sewn before I sew it on the machine like I'm doing right now. So right now, I'm just finishing off the sewing. Before you do this, as you can look, the zipper is kind of open. Make sure you leave the zipper open so you could be able to turn it inside out. So right now, I'm just closing in all the seams. I'm putting the seam together and just closing the fabric together. And some of them, they have like little corners. I'm stitching like the ends of the little corners. I'm just showing you what I did. See, I left the zipper open so I'll be able to turn it inside out. So make sure, this is very important, to make sure you have the zipper open so you could be able to turn this pillow cover inside out. Okay, so right now I'm just gonna sew the corners of the machine. After I finish sewing all around the pillow cover, then I'm gonna sew the four corners because the size is not even. And remember, I had to make up for the fabric being slightly small, so it's gonna be show that the fabric is overlaid while having the dog as the centerpiece. So that's why I sew the corners the way that it look like right now, as you can see.